We're here with Amy, and I want to know where you're from, how you got into the hair industry, and just what brought you into the wedding industry overall.
Okay, so I'm originally from Sydney, Australia, but I live in Toronto, and that's primarily where my business is based in Canada. I got into the industry, I would say the first time around 2008 was the first time I did a bridal course, a bridal boot camp in Australia. But then I didn't really succeed or flourish in my bridal career, and I completely exited the bridal industry and just decided to stay in hairdressing for like 7 years. And then I re-entered bridal industry when I came to Canada, which is in around 2010. And then I created Bridal Hair Collective around 2012. And then I've kind of been in it consistently since then.
Wow, I had no idea you've had your bridal hair collective since 2012, over a
Yeah,
decade.
yes,
Wow.
yeah. I have had it that long, but I would say I only really started to hit my peak and really invest and really commit to bridal styling in like the last 6 years. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you were working in a salon previously?
Yeah, I've always been a hairstylist since I was 14 is when I first I did my apprenticeship, and I have been in a salon I was in a salon for like 18 years, I think. So yeah,
Wow.
but then 2012, I decided to quit the salon and start my own business and just purely focus on bridal hair from around 2012. Yeah.
Okay, so you went from salon to your own bridal business. Did you ever work on teams or you just went right to your own business?
I worked on a team for, I would say, like 1 season. I worked on a team in Toronto. And back then in 2012, there wasn't a lot of hairstylists just doing hair. There was, a few teams, but there wasn't hairstylists doing on location bridal hair. And I saw that there was a real gap in the market. So as soon as I kind of started on her team, and she really wanted me to work all of these weddings, and I was getting paid really well, and I was just like, why, I can do this on my own, kind of thing. There's a real demand for it. So I just did 1 season, and then I went out on my own.
Wow, I love that because it was like you noticed, okay, this is actually going to be something. Because, like, I feel like even in Toronto, tell me, was it just like you were still getting ready in the salon versus like hotels?
No, back then it was all like hotels or homes, or back, like, it seems like a long time ago, but everyone was still like, there was bridal teams. It's not as big as it is now, but there was definitely bridal teams for hair and makeup. But there wasn't as many solo artists specializing, is what I would say was the difference back
Got
then.
it. Got it. Yeah, because over in the US, I kind of similar to you started in 2012, but it was like very taboo to be doing it in the hotel. It was like not heard of. So I was just curious how it was in Toronto. That's like so
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So walk me through. You're almost like you're like a veteran. You've been doing this for quite a while. So walk me through what kind of like your beginning years looked like, and then tell me kind of what brought you to Bridal Boss Academy. Was there anything specifically going on in your business where you were like, I think I want to tighten things up here, refine anything you were struggling with, or just what led you to the academy?
Yeah, I guess when I first started out, I was doing quantity over quality, and I was doing like 100+ weddings on my own. I've always had, like, from fairly early on goals that have helped me out, but
Mhm.
I've pretty much all along always done the brides. So I was at every wedding, and then I would have my team assist me. I did kind of dabble in the team a little bit, and I had one of my team members taking on weddings. But for me, I just found it too stressful when I was at weddings having other team members, or I just found it a really hard balance to try and promote a team, but everyone wanted me. So I just fairly, I tried it for a couple of years, and then I just went back to me doing all of the weddings. So I was doing a lot of weddings, 5 or 6 years doing, 100 plus weddings every season. And I just, at that point, I guess when I joined the academy, I was pretty burnt out. I wanted to upskill. I wanted to refine my process. And I wanted to really specialize and become really known in my industry for bridal. And I guess, yeah, a little bit more unique, just not like everyone else doing, the on the hamster wheel, doing, yeah, everything that everyone was doing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. 100 weddings a year. I mean, I did it once, and for you to do it multiple times, like I wanted to take a nap. I got so tired for you.
yeah,
Was that exhausting?
it was, but at the time, I didn't have children. I didn't have my son. I don't have like family here. It was kind of like my business was my baby, and it was where all of my time. I had a lot of time back then,
Yeah.
and I didn't mind getting up. Really early in the morning. I didn't mind traveling for hours. Like my priorities were different. So at that time, it felt really good because I just hit the ground running. My business was, a success, like literally overnight. It was just really, really busy, and it felt really good. But that started to change as, I got older, as I started a family. And I think as well as trends changed and as brides changed as well, like I found that brides needed more of your attention. You needed to manage the bookings more. Hairstyles took longer. So it was kind of like a shift in my world, but it was also a shift in what was going on in the bridal industry back in that time, just before COVID. Tanya's stylist was, everyone was wanting her buns, and, I definitely couldn't do them. And so, yeah, it was just a shift in that what brides were asking for required more time, more attention to detail, and more education. And so, with that, a lot of things changed in my business at that time.
Yeah. So, did you join the academy? I want to say 2023 in the first round.
Um,
Or
Yeah, like, or even before that, I joined you when you were doing like those live training sessions, and you would do the model, and then we could either watch live or we could watch the playback, and you were literally, doing like the 2 hour hairstyle live.
yeah.
So what was that called? What was that? That was,
I called it Bridal Boss Academy, the hair accelerator. I just love the name.
yeah. Yeah. So I did that with you. And I can't remember if you had something before that as well that was like a mini course, or was that kind of like your first education
That was kind of my first
offering?
education was the hair courses, and then I went into the
Yeah.
academy the first round 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was from the OGs.
I know. I
Yeah.
knew you were in my hair courses, but I felt like you had joined the academy in round one. So you've
Yes,
been
I
able,
definitely did as well. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you've been in a couple different versions, but
This
in
was like the original kind of Facebook group before it was on school. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. So in 2023, would I feel like you were coming off of working hundreds of weddings a year, right? And
Yeah.
Around what time did
Yeah,
you start your family?
in 2020. So
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
I would say like 2020, I started, because of COVID as well, and maybe kind of that year or the year before, I'd started kind of reducing the weddings that I took just because of, yeah, like back in 2012, um, I feel like quantity over quality really worked in that,
Yeah.
like, and in that, there wasn't as much competition and you could get away with that. I don't know. Like, I was still
Mhm.
doing, good work at that time, but what I was doing then I wouldn't fly in 2025. So, yeah. So, and it was like a slow transition and it just kind of happened naturally. But yeah, I would say I was doing around like 60 or 80 weddings around that time, 2020 to 2023 after COVID.
Yeah. Okay. So then you're, newly with your family, and now maybe it's kind of sounds like your goals kind of changed where you wanted to work less and focus more on quantity, not quality.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were going
Yeah.
into the academy, what would you say was like your biggest goal?
To upskill my skill level, to just really refine that, and creating a lot of content, like getting doing content days became kind of like that. I started that when I started your academy, and that was something in those early days of your academy that I really took away and really started to, I guess, elevate my brand and refine my brand, because I started to work on my own models, really start to create my signature looks and things like that.
Okay. So before you joined, would you say you had signature styles, ideal bride, any of that in place yet, or was that new to you?
No, no.
No, wow.
Oh,
Because it's
no.
so wild to see and follow your journey. Like your signature styles are so beyond clear. Like I go to your page, I know who you're for and who you're not for. And your talent is just beyond 100 out of 10. Like you're just so talented.
Thank
So
you.
it's been really fun to watch your journey in that aspect. But wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't have signature styles. I didn't like my I've niched down to fine hair as well, and that all came out of the academy, and the strategies and the yeah, just deep dive into my business, and working out who my ideal brides are and doing all of that um homework, I guess, right? And really working behind the scenes on my business all started when I started the academy.
Okay, so
Like, I
walk.
yeah, I still remember doing like my niche statement, and like it was so hard to, do narrow down and do your niche and really work that out. Like, I remember spending weeks and weeks and weeks, and like, it's literally taken like, 3 years. Like, I really feel like I've just kind of this year um, narrowed down my niche. I know what my niche is. I know who my ideal bride is. Like, it didn't happen overnight, and it evolved through
Mhm.
that journey as well of years.
Yeah, so you say like now you finally feel more confident in it, like you know who she is.
Yeah, I know. I know who she is. And I also know who I am and what my offering is. And I've been able to take that to education now and have become so successful in, fine hair education, like taking my education and niching that down. So it's kind of, yeah, it started off with my hair and my brides, but I've been able to successfully then transfer that to my education as well, like all of those strategies and yeah,
I know, I love that. And I've seen you've been
things that
so
I learned.
successful with your I think I like heard myself talking. I got a little off track. But I've seen you
Yeah.
be so successful with your education business as well, which I will touch on in a little bit. But when it comes to when you joined the academy, probably would have been around November-ish of 2023, because that's when I opened, and I feel like you were in that first round.
Yeah.
So since joining, what
Yeah.
did your 2024 shape up to be? How did that look for you?
Sorry, I just lost the sound on you.
Oh no.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, it's back now.
I'm back.
Hang on, this is being recorded. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's just like the Wi-Fi went out on me or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's back now.
Okay. So you up there we go. I love a little like. So you joined likely November of 23. So when you were in the academy, how did your 2024 shape up to look like? Bookings wise, inquiry wise, as in comparison to 2023?
2024 was the first time I ran a wait list for 2025, my bookings. So 2024, I think was good, but I was kind of, booking throughout the whole year, and it wasn't as systematic, and it wasn't as I guess intentional. So it was good, but I hadn't really, I guess, taken on the psychology of that I'm going to max out at this amount. This is, the amount of bookings I'm going to have. I didn't have strategies in place. I didn't have a hustle season, and I didn't have a lot of the psychology and mentality that I use now when it comes to planning my year ahead and how it's going to look. I was still living in that moment and living just, day to day, week to week at that point. I had a lot of the, I guess, my skill level, and I had a lot of the strategies for getting my social media and creating content and things like that. But 2024, I wasn't as aligned with my business strategies and marketing strategies as what I was in 2025 and now going into 2026.
Wow. Okay. That is so interesting. And I actually love that. I want to dive a little bit into it. So, because I feel like a lot of people are in that booking to booking cycle, almost like a feast or famine. Like it could be summer and you're booking out your fall. You know what I mean? So now that you've worked your 2025, when you had your wait list, walk me through
Mm-hmm.
how your wait list went. If you have any numbers, I'm a numbers girl. I would love to
Yeah,
hear
I
some.
did. I did
Ah,
put them all down.
she put the
So
glasses on.
all of my, like my waitlist info. So I was fully booked for 2025 in December 2024. So that was after doing like a campaign and running a wait list, and fully booked for me at that time was 40 brides. And because I think the year before taken 60, I was like, I'm going to open up 10 additional spots. So I opened up 10 additional spots in December. And then I was again fully booked by February 2025 with 50 brides. I
Wow.
then actually ran the numbers, and I actually ended up taking 58 brides. So I guess like this is what my year currently is 58 brides. There was a lot of like Thursday weddings, and just I took some extra weddings in. So my total number was 58 for this year brides. So that was good. I really liked having the flexibility that I hit my 40, and then, at that time I looked at my calendar and I could reopen, however many spots. I loved having that control of, what my calendar looked like, and not, feeling like I had to book, okay, I have to book 10 more brides, or I have to book, worrying that I'm not booked or I'm not busy. It was up to me if I wanted to be busier. And I really loved like having that control. So I just did my 2026 waitlist, opened on December the 2nd, 2025. And then my books opened on January the 13th. And I had 18 brides on my wait list at that time. And by January 21st, I booked 12 brides. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
so that was my second wait list year of doing wait lists. And then what does it look like? Now I am currently, so in April 2025, I was 50% booked for 2026 brides. And now I currently have 33 brides booked with 7 spots left for 2026.
Amy, that's
So
insane.
yeah.
That's insane. You're gonna walk
Yeah.
into your year, bet my bottom last dollar on it. You're walking into 2026 and not even needing a booking. I know it.
Mm. Yeah,
I know it.
for that year. Yeah. I feel I feel like I'll be come December will be fully booked again. And if I want to open up some more spots, I can open up those spots. So yeah, it's been amazing in that I could book out 50% of my year by April. And then in summer, I really didn't have a hustle season. I've just, I've focused on my brides. I have been, just managing my business in the busiest time. I've not had to worry about, when is my next booking coming? I don't have any brides in October. I don't have any bookings for next year. I don't have to worry about that. I kind of like hustle everything's, strategized so that I know when I have to market for my next year, and I have confidence that I'm going to get booked to a comfortable level, that I don't have to worry about that until I've got time to then I'm going to choose when I'm going to hustle again and when I'm going to book more clients, I guess, is like how I feel.
That's absolutely incredible. And I love how it just sounds like you are in the driver's seat. You're in the driver's seat now versus maybe in previous years, it kind of felt like your business was running you and you were just letting it come at you. But now it's like you've found the repeatable process that you've been able to do 2024, 25, and now 26. And I kind of feel like, has that allowed you to now tap into becoming an educator because you have the free time?
Yes, I think that it will next year. Like this year has been like the biggest hustle because like 57 brides and doing education, it was too many, right? Like I overstretched myself by doing that, but I'm now setting up myself for next year, and I am only going to take like 40 brides. Like I am only going to take 40 brides, and
Mhm.
maybe I can open up my books like again if I feel like I need to, but the balance is coming, but it wasn't there this year because I was just had such a successful season booking brides and then I was like, okay, now I really want to do education and I want to open that, but I just had no room, or really struggled to find bookings to book students that wanted to book. So I definitely feel like I've found the secret sauce and I know the formula, and I'm going to be able to I did that. I used it with my education, with selling out my masterclass, and I used the same formula and I had even more success than, I've had with doing it with brides. So
I
yeah.
know it was kind of like you rinse and repeat it for your education, which was so
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
And how many people did you
Mm-hmm.
get on your wait list for your class? It was in-person masterclass, right?
Yeah, for my masterclass, I ended up getting around like 45 with a 2 week waitlist campaign. Like I
Wow.
did a 2 week waitlist campaign. Like it was actually really short for my masterclass, but I'd been priming my audience like
Mhm.
before that, right? I had been, talking from like an educator voice and using social media. So it wasn't just like it was, I guess, cold calling my audience. There was already lots of priming done for them. So yeah, I ended up getting 45 on my wait list, but honestly, about 20 of those joined like after the masterclass had sold out. So when I went live, I think I had around 23 on my wait list, and the masterclass sold out to 15 students in less than 24 hours. So yeah,
That's
in the first 3 hours,
unreal.
it was 60% sold out. So yeah.
That's insane. I just got chills for you because I just know that feeling of like, wow, I did it. Because I remember we had our call and I feel like you were confident, but it's your first one and you still got those like nerves of like, is anyone going to show up? You know? Are they going to come to
Yeah,
my class?
definitely. And because I was niching down and, I was doing something that I haven't really seen anyone else do, teach a class like this. And I'd spoken to, a couple of different mentors as well. And they had, said the same thing. No one else is doing it. So go for it, definitely do it. But I was still a little bit, I don't know. So it was a real shock.
I know. And then look at that, you're sold out. Sold out. And now she's got people on the wait list for your next class. I love it.
Yeah, and it was amazing again because I'd done, a lot of work, but I was planning on doing a lot more. I was planning on, okay, I have to batch a lot more content. I have to, do a lot, talk a lot more and share a lot more about this after I launch it because I'm going to still have to work really hard to sell it,
Yeah.
and get it out there. And I didn't. I was like, oh, okay, like now I don't, I didn't have to, I only had to work half as hard as what I thought I would.
Exactly. And that's the same with when it comes to like wedding bookings. Like
Mhm.
prior to you having that repeatable process with the waitlist method, it's kind of like you're always in selling mode, constantly feeling like you
Yeah,
need to book those
yeah,
brides. And then
yeah.
you learn the waitlist method. So when it comes to the waitlist method, what was your favorite part about it? Because it wasn't even a core part of BB 1.0. It was
No,
like
no,
it was
it
a
was
bonus.
actually like it was a bonus, yes.
Yeah.
But as soon as you ran it as a bonus, like I've probably been doing it. I feel like this is maybe like my fourth time doing it. Like as soon as you launched it, I did do it, but I kind of had done it, less strategic. Like I hadn't created as much content, or I didn't let it, I opened the wait list too soon. Like for brides, I think um, definitely like a 4 to 6 week window of, priming
I
and sharing your content and talking about what you need to talk about is really important. I found 8 weeks was a little bit too long, like that
Yeah.
first the first time I did it, but I think you also build momentum and you know what works, and it's just gotten like more consistent every time that I've done it. Like I think last year I maybe had like 16 people on the wait list, and this year I had around like 20. And like this year I booked like I think 60% of the people that were on the wait list booked, where the year before maybe only 30% booked. So it's definitely gotten and it's also the brides that book me now tell me, I'd set my alarm and, I was like watching your stories and, like I've kind of built, I guess, a strategy, or, just that even brides that are following me now for next year know like what to expect, and they know, how the process is going to work, and that they're going to have to, get on the wait list. And, it's a little bit of an excitement, and yeah,
That's incredible. They're setting alarms. Like, is there any bigger compliment than a bride saying she's setting her alarm, waiting for your books to open? I mean, just that's incredible. Because it's like a fun thing for them. You're right, because it's the psychology that goes into it. You've built that momentum, the hype and everything. So they're like, okay,
Mhm.
where's that 2027 wait list? When is it open? Tell me,
Yeah.
because I'm setting my alarm now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
amazing. I love that. I love that you've had so much success with that and you now have that repeatable process where you're able to walk into your year with predictable income versus feeling like you need to work 80 weddings. So, walk me
Mhm.
through how it's felt going from, I know this year we extended a little bit, but next year you're going to be working 40 weddings, and we're going to
Mhm.
secure it by the end of the year. I just know that you will. How has
Mhm.
it felt working less weddings? Would you say you've been able to still earn the same amount of income?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because of the demand and the fact that, I can let brides know, like, I get booked out and I'm not taking everyone. I'm able to put my prices up, and I'm able to earn more money with working less weddings and do things like return services, which I love doing for brides. So elevating the type of service that I offer as well. Like it's a little bit more exclusive, I feel, when you're only accepting a certain amount of bookings. It's a little
Absolutely.
bit more, yeah.
Absolutely. So, what would you say? Do you remember what your prices were before the academy versus after? Because I remember you saying that you were able to increase your rates.
I mean, I've increased them like at least I would say twice a year. Typically like before, just after I do my wait list. So the brides that are on the wait list, um, they'll get like my current prices right now, but I did just put them up maybe like 4 months ago. And then I will then increase it again. So I typically do like it 2 monthly, but again, it's on demand as well. Like if I'm already booked out, I feel like I could maybe put up my prices again before I do the wait list. But thinking back to how much I was charging, I feel like I was maybe charging around like 220 for a bride, I would maybe say, and like 120 for a bridesmaid. And now my bride is 300 and my bridesmaids are 175. So,
Go
yeah.
girl. Go girl.
Do get told by people all the time, like other artists, like, you should put your prices up. Like, that's what I'm charging. And you're, a lot more skilled than what I am. But so,
I mean, I no lies detected there. Your demand's there. We got brides setting alarms to work with you. Okay. I mean, I do feel as your talent 1,000% there. You could 3,000% increase that. But that
I
actually,
hope.
you should. That actually brings me to one of my favorite stories about you was, I think it was last year when you were like 95% booked out for maybe 2025, in like the fall of last year. But you made a post in the community and it was like from frustrated to fully booked kind of vibes. And
Mhm.
I would love if you could, do you remember that?
Yes, yeah, I remember that like so well. Yeah,
Walk
yeah,
us
I
through it.
remember
Walk us
that.
through it like we don't know it.
Yeah, so that was like back when I went to packages. I'd first like I'd done the majority of your course, and I was going from a la carte to packages, and I'd also increased my rates, and it was like around like February I'd done this, and it was just like crickets, and I didn't have any bookings in like February, none in March, none in April, none in May. And I'd say like in May, I started to get like a lot of inquiries, and I got like a lot of brides that were so close to booking. Like, I'd had calls with them, I'd had lots of emails back and forth. And then just right at the last minute, they would just, oh, I'm just going to think about it. Or, my bridesmaids have, it's out of budget for my bridesmaids. Or there was just like a lot like back to back. And I remember like I was literally in tears because I'd, gone so many months without bookings. And then I was getting inquiries, and they were getting so close, but they were still just not there. And I remember like emailing you, and like I was showing you all of the correspondence that we were having, and it was just like really, really frustrating, and it was really scary because I'd gone from consistently booking, even though I wasn't maybe booking in advance. I'd gone from having fully booked years to like nearly going on 6 months, where I was just really afraid about these changes that I'd made. And I was really unsure of what to do. And I guess what changed for me was, when I look back, I was doing the same processes and communicating the same with my clients as I was when I had a la carte and lower prices. And it wasn't translating with higher prices and packages. I needed to offer more communication. I needed to be more available. I did a stories, like I just went really all in on stories that sell, and I really started like communicating what I did all behind the scenes, taking my brides through trials to wedding days, really highlighting pain points that my brides were having. And then it just like started to flip, and then it just changed. Offering calls to my brides, which I never did that before. I never kind of offered. I always saw that as a red flag. I used to see that as a red flag if they couldn't just make that booking decision. Like I had everything in my emails, everything on my website, but it really wasn't working with the type of bride that I was now trying to attract. And so yeah, I've changed through all of those changes. It just like completely did a 360, and then I booked out that year by December.
I love that. I love that story so much because it's so relatable because not everyone, when you switch over from a la carte to packages, if you just keep everything the same, it's not going to translate the same, especially because I feel like at that moment was when our brides were shifting. There was like a big shift, especially in communication. Did you feel it? It was like
Yeah. Yeah.
brides want less boundaries and they want us to be more flexible. So like the fact that you were
Mm-hmm.
offering calls where before you weren't and kind of like relaxing those harsh boundaries a little bit and being a little bit more in their letting them kind of like talking to them how they want to talk to, be like talked to and everything, and showing up on your stories. Like, I love that you actually like took the bull by the horns and you put in the work and then it showed. Do you know what I mean? Because you really did 360. I saw you on stories like every day. I was like, there goes Amy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel that that's happening again now, right? Like going into the Gen Z brides, and communicating with them right now. I know that there's a lot of reluctance to book. There's a lot of like over communicating required as well. And we're going into now a different shift of how we're going to have how we're going to communicate, and what our service level is going to be to attract those brides and to make them want to book with us. And I'm not sure entirely what that is yet. waiting, relying for 4.0 to see exactly what that is. But I can feel that shift. And I know for myself as well, like I haven't been active on stories itself for my brides right now. And when I'm not, I don't have any inquiries or very, very few inquiries. Like all of I'd say like 80% of my inquiries come from Instagram. And, when I'm not actively out there talking to my brides, helping solve their pain points and providing them with value added information, that ultimately reflects in my inquiries. But I'm okay with that because I only have 7 more brides to book, and I'm okay if I book them down the track, because then maybe I can put my prices up, and I'm not in a desperate situation. And I know when I want to book brides or I want to attract brides and get a fuller inquiry box, I know how to do that.
Yes. Wow. First off, the fact that like, because that's just a testament of the power of you putting the waitlist method to work because you only need
Mm-hmm.
7 more bookings. And that mindset shift is massive, 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 massive because you're like, I can take my foot off the pedal a little bit and relax. But I know when I want to pump it back up, I know how to sell on my stories. So would you say that's been even a big factor for you in terms of booking brides, showing up on your stories versus if you're not? Is that something you've seen?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I know, like, even today, just when I showed up on my stories and I did a little bit of storytelling with my bride from the weekend, I've got 3 inquiries in my inbox. So
That's amazing.
yeah, I think if you use Instagram, and you're fully in on Instagram and you commit and you're consistent, and um, like the results are just like, yeah, my business is so reliant on Instagram to that's where I get, yeah, the majority of my bookings from. So
Yeah. They're hanging out. They're just waiting for you to show up to
yeah.
tell them, like, hey, inquire with me. Because look at that, 3 inquiries after posting a set of stories. Insane.
Mhm.
What's been
Yeah.
your biggest win when it comes to Instagram stories?
Um, I mean, honestly, there's been so many, like my whole business growth, right? My business growth through brides, my business growth as an educator, the opportunities that have come from that, like brand deals, becoming ambassadors for brands. It's really limitless, like opportunities. I'm getting to go to New York next month. Like it's like it's big.
Yeah.
It's been huge for me.
Where are you
Yeah.
going in New York? That's so exciting.
For Bridal Fashion Week.
You're
So
going for Bridal Fashion Week. You're doing hair? That's
yeah.
so
Yeah,
fun. That's
and
amazing.
that's just through a connection through Instagram, and the community as well, right? Is I would say has been such an amazing bonus of the community of hairstylists, and just, yeah, building community and having those opportunities to further your career or work with people that you would never get to work with, and finding like your ideal brides. Like all of the brides that I get to work with now are just really aligned with me. I would say at least 50% this year have had fine hair, and they're just so excited to work with someone that they can trust and they know is going to make them feel so confident
And
in
that's you.
their day.
And that's you. So, what
Yeah.
would you say has been your biggest transformation? Like, what was your life before Bridal Boss Academy with your business versus what it looks like now?
Like I would say before it was good, and I was doing good work, and I was yeah, I was running a business, but it was not a very organized business and it wasn't really strategic at all. Yeah, I was doing a good job, but now I'm doing an excellent job. Now I'm like, I just feel like I've stepped into the space where I wanted to be. Like I was always wanting to do more and wanting to, do this, and I was wanting to get brand deals, and I was wanting to work with these certain people. And now I am. Now I am working with the brides that I want to be. Now I am in demand. Now I am, yeah, like I've niched down. I'm really aligned with who I am as an educator and who I serve to my brides, who I want in my chair, and I know what I can do for them, and I know I'm confident in a lot more confident, I guess, in what I have to offer, and how I execute everything too.
Yeah, you're definitely somebody who like puts in the work. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you implement so fast, like so fast. Like with the waitlist method, you were like, watched a video and then you put it into work. You know what I mean? Like, and you can really see like your success. You should feel so proud of yourself. You really, really should, because you are just
Thank you.
year over year. I'm like, wow, she's so impressive. So impressive.
Well, I guess like so many of your strategies and your techniques and everything I feel you teach, if you put in the work and you show up, the success is going to happen, right? And that's what like lots of people ask me, oh, you don't know, I see you've done Marissa's courses, like, and asking me for feedback. And I'm always like, it's amazing. Like, Marissa, like you can't go wrong, but you've got to put in the work, right? Like if like it's not easy strategies, or it's not just like you're gonna watch one 30-minute video and it's all gonna happen. Like it's a lot of work, but if you put in the work, the success is waiting for you, right?
Yes, I love that. I love that. Where you can't just watch one 30-minute video. Sorry, guys, it's not gonna happen. So I would love to know because you're somebody who I know has put so much of the academy like to action. I would love to know some like quick fire wins when it comes to like certain aspects. So when it comes to the waitlist method, what was like your biggest win there?
I think just being able to, do you mean like my biggest win in like the overall outcome of it? Or so just hustling for 2 months and then, cruising for six kind of thing. And when I say cruising, I mean like, I guess being present in my business, like working on my business and hustling and doing all of that, but then being in my business. I think it's really hard to be working on your business and being in your business. And I think you really have to separate those two. And when I kind of worked out, okay, I'm going to batch my content, and I've got a strategy, and I've got content pillars, I know what I'm talking about, I know who I'm talking to, and I know when I'm going to do that, then you're just so focused. And then you don't have to do that. You don't have to show up like that every single day. You can really break it down into that I'm going to work on my business, hustle for my business, but now it's May, June, July, and August. I'm going to be in my business, and I'm going to give my brides 100%. So that's, I'm not going to be trying to do posts and trying to create content, 3 days of the week, and then I've got another 3 weddings. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still feel like I work every single day of the week with having a son, and it's still not like easy, but I'm just not out there trying to sell myself. In my busiest months, I can focus on being with my brides and showing up for my brides during those times. And then now coming into October and November, I'm really going to focus on creating content and getting that content out there for then booking brides in January and February. And then the cycle starts again.
Rinse and repeat. I love that. I'm absolutely living for that. Okay, when it comes to packages, what has been your biggest win there and your highest book package, if you know it offhand?
Yeah. My highest book package would be my middle package, which is Bride plus six, and it includes a second stylist. So that is seven people in total. I still have to go through all of my numbers because I really want to do what you said about finding out which is your most common package. But for 56 weddings this year, I had a second stylist for 30 of those weddings.
Holy
So
cow.
I would say that, you know, seven or more is common, is most common. Um, and so that was my most booked package. And what did you say? What was the price? Was that the other
Yeah,
question?
yeah,
And the price of that package is, I think, around 1,750 right now. And that also, one thing I did change as well recently was I added in the trial to that package. So I think, like before packages, there was a lot of back and forth with emails. There was a lot of, like adding up, what the total was and who was included and who wasn't. And I found that doing packages really streamlined the booking process for my brides. I still break down my packages with price
mhm,
every time I send out an email. I think that was really key when I did switch over, that they still wanted to see what it looked like if it was itemized and how it was broken down. They were like, okay, well, I'm paying 1,700, but how is that broken down? And I found that stopped a lot of the friction. Like when I first created the packages, I didn't do that. And I think there was a lot left for, in a gray area. But then now every time I send it out, I send out the package price and I break it down, itemized how much each item would cost. If they want to do it differently, that's fine, but it's broken down. And then I break it down again with what's included, this is for how many people, this is your travel, and then just recently I did just include the trial in the package, so that was a recent change that
love
I
that.
did. Yeah,
Love.
I think it just streamlined it stopped confusion, and I think it elevates as well. I think there's like a perceived kind of like it's a little bit more luxury, um, a luxury service when it's in a package. It's not like I'm cherry picking or I'm like this and this. I feel like they have to do a lot more work with, okay, so if I've got five bridesmaids that cost this amount, and then there's me, and then there's the trial, and I just feel like it's easier for brides.
And everyone, it's easier for everybody involved.
Definitely. It's been definitely like I've loved doing the packages. I feel like once I went through, there was like a transition period and there was like some teething problems, but when I got over all of those, like I've never really looked back. And I hope that the Gen Z brides don't like a la carte, because don't want to go back to a la carte. I want packages to
Packages
stay.
for life. Well, no, I think you hit the nail on the head there, which is going to be big with the Gen Z, which is breaking it down. As long as there's an itemized, this is what everything cost, I think everything is still going to translate seamlessly for them, because I think that would have been a disconnect for them. They want to see everything like super easy digestible. There's a few other communication elements, which I can tell you post call if you want, that I'm adding in just to like help in the communication aspect that I really think you're gonna enjoy personally. Because I'm like, Amy's gonna be somebody who does this.
Of course.
Yeah. But when it comes to communication, how did you feel about the email templates? Did you find those helpful at all?
Yes. Yeah, I did find them really helpful. Yeah. Um, I feel like I need to like upgrade them a little bit. I feel like they're 2023 still, where I need to kind of like it's a constant evolution, I
Yeah.
guess. Like it's not just a like these are going to be for life, which I think that's what, before this, I had the templates and they were like the same templates for like a decade. It was like, if you've
Yeah.
got any questions, give me a call. Not give me a call, but let me know if you have any questions, kind of
Yeah.
thing, and just, cutting there. So yeah, I think that the templates were amazing and they've worked so great. Yeah,
Amazing. I love that.
definitely.
Would
And
you
just following brides as well, right? Like before the course, I'd maybe follow up one time, with brides. But now I follow up, at least kind of 4 times
would you say you
with
get more
email.
responses or you've been able to book a bride that you've just followed up with?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And even now, I still get ghosted, but I would say there'd be less ghosting. Like, no one ever used to respond before, but now maybe about, 25% will be like, oh, thank you, I've just decided to go in another direction, or, they'll let you know. And that never used to happen before.
I know it's nice just to get a response sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love a response.
Definitely. Yeah. Just let us know so we can close your file.
Yeah, yeah, we can archive you.
Yeah.
Would you say that you've been able to get closer to or hit your six-figure year overall?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
When it comes to the academy, what has been your favorite part? That if I was to delete something, which I feel like I did, because you've been in all the version, the waitlist method I took out last year, but we're bringing it back. But if I was to delete something, what would you be like, oh my God, no, that has to stay?
I mean, it would be the wait list, right? Because that was so instrumental in getting me to where I am today. So for me, it would be the wait list and probably like stories that sell, like understanding, how to story tell. And share your behind the scenes and your journey and how to, I guess, just market yourself, right? Like you're not just posting on stories. There has to be some intention behind your stories if you want to convert your clients from your stories to your inbox or your
Yeah.
to an inquiry.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can't just be like,
So
here's my pretty hair. Like, I love that you actually get the strategy behind it and you actually sell. It's like you
mhm.
take the steps to actually do that with your brides, which I love because that's how you're gonna see the results. Um, One question, so I know, which I absolutely love about you, I'm the same way. You're big on education. I know you like to invest in programs and invest in your business and level it up. Since you've been in other education, what would you say is something that is different or sets the academy apart in comparison to
the
other
business
programs?
the business and the marketing aspects. I don't think there's really anyone else out there doing what you're doing with understanding the psychology of running a business and marketing a business. And that is so up to date with what we were doing last year isn't perhaps gonna, work this year or next year. And so just constantly staying relevant and sharing that information with us so that we can stay relevant and we can grow. So yeah, that
Yeah.
would probably be what stands out
Yeah.
most for me is just um, the amount of information and education on business and how to run your business and grow your business.
Yeah. And I'm always going to keep you updated. So now that I have you, is there anything that's top of mind for you that you're seeing as maybe different with like bookings comparison to this year that possibly is more Gen Z coded?
Yeah, I'm not sure that the email strategy is working as well with the brides this year as it was last year. Like I feel like right now I'm definitely getting ghosted a lot more and bookings aren't converting as much. But I don't know if that's also to do with that.
If somebody was on the fence about joining Bridal Boss Academy, maybe they've been burned by another course. Maybe they're like, wow, that's crazy expensive. What would you tell them now that you've been through it a couple rounds?
I'm just thinking because like I literally had like a girl like with that question to me like about your course and say that I've done like and often they're just teaching the same type of things and I don't always get anything out of it. And I said to her that like I always get something out of like every live that you do, like every replay that I watch, like every course that um, I've watched of yours, every conversation we have, I always get something out of it and I always take something away from it. Um, but ultimately, I think that it comes down to that it's a 50-50, right? You're giving all of the information, such valuable information, but you as a student have to do something with that information. So I would say go for it. You're not going to be disappointed, but make sure that you show up and that you are ready to put in the hard work because and you've got time to commit to the course. Because if you don't, then you're going to be the same as you were yesterday.
I love that. You're going to be the same you were yesterday. That's so true. And yeah, you definitely have to show up and put in the work because, like you said, you can't watch a 30-minute video and change your business.
It's going to take a little bit more than that, and it's going to be like a journey. And I think that even if you start and you stop and you come back, like that's a great thing as well. Like I'm not in the beginning I was able to invest a lot more time, and now I don't currently have always all that time, but I can still hop back in a month later, a few weeks later, and just reference. Like it's a great reference for me if something isn't going right in my business or I'm struggling with something. I can always just ask a question in the forum, or I can go back to a lesson that you've had and I'm always going to get an answer that's
Mhm.
going to help me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so, so much for sharing your story and sharing your success. I'm literally forever cheering you on. I'm a big fan girl. But where can we all hang out with you? What's your Instagram?
At Bridal Hair Collective.
Amazing. I can't wait for you to see 4.0. It's going to be game changing for you. And I can't wait to hear about your wait list for 2027.